Hello and welcome to another Charge Attack podcast. I'm Ben and I'm here with Luke.
Hi guys.
It's actually been a little bit more of a slower week again. This week there's not as much big news, but we've got some potential that will turn into some bigger stuff. But first of all, going straight off the bat, once again, this week starting with Final Fantasy again. 10 and 10-2, the re-release of them again, the remastered editions are now finally coming to Switch and Xbox, which is quite good. That's being released on the 16th of April. The only issue with it really is when you look at it, it's priced at full price, which, considering it's a
Bit cheeky.
yeah, it's a remastered game. When the remaster got released almost 5 years ago now, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, really.
Did the community want this? Is this something that was requested, or are they just...
I mean, especially when it comes to the Switch, but just because of the versatility and the usefulness of it. I mean, Final Fantasy X and X-2, it got released on PlayStation Vita, as well as PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. So you could play it at home and you could play it on the go, just fine. You did have to buy two separate game cartridges for it, which obviously costs even more.
Yeah.
But now, at least with it coming onto Switch anyways, because Final Fantasy used to be on Switch a long time ago, or used to be with Nintendo a long time ago, they have got sort of a little bit of history there. So and having obviously the extra options is good. The only problem is just, despite 10 and 10-2 being they are really some of my favourite games. 10-2 is very underrated game. It's quite a bit of a struggle to justify the £60 in the UK price point for Switch. When it comes down to, say, for example, like 40 or 30, that would be fine. When you think about something like Crash Bandicoot, when it had all the free original games, they all got remade and put onto one disc. And they looked absolute, like, this is a proper they were properly remade as well. Yeah. This is just a remaster where it's all just sort of like tightened and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, it still takes a lot of time and effort. But with the Crash to Insanity collection, that was only £30 when that came out, and that was the free original games. That's £10 per game.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot more content in terms of that one.
Yeah, but I mean, it is one of these games. Like, I highly recommend it if you haven't played it at all. For anybody at all, they are very unique and brilliant games. It was actually Squaresoft when 10 got released originally, and then they became Square Enix, if you didn't know.
Did not know that.
So, and it's one of those ones where it's considered one of the last strongest contenders of the Final Fantasy series. But those games are brilliant. They're worth it. Definitely, they're worth the money. But it isn't something. They shouldn't be in a position where they're making it cost that much. It seems a little bit unfaithful towards the fans, I would say.
It could do a lot more damage than good, potentially.
Yeah. It's you want to start off on a strong foot. If they released it straight off the bat at £40 or £30, a lot more people would be more invested, and especially with them being remasters, is that people are buying this again.
Is this £60 per game?
No, so it's £60 for both games. So they'll both come on the single together. But chances are, what will happen is especially for the Switch version, is if you bought the cartridge, you'll get Final Fantasy X will come on the cartridge or on the disc on the Xbox One. And then what will happen is that 10-2, which is the second part of the game, will be a downloadable code. They can be played. You can play 10 separately from 10-2. You don't need 10 as its own story in its own.
Yeah.
But 10-2, this is where it's a follow-on from the story. It's that extra addition if you would like it, but isn't completely necessary.
Okay.
So it does well. It's definitely worth your time. Definitely a very good game to get into. But might be worth hanging off a couple of weeks and waiting until it comes down in price.
Wait till a deal comes out.
But then again, it's on Switch, so you can't really go wrong with
Switch
the portability.
Prices, don't
they never lose value at all. So yeah, that's the biggest bit of news that we've got so far, really. The next thing we've got coming up is Mortal Kombat 11. Which got announced, obviously, a couple of months ago.
Yep.
Its release date is the 26th of April. Okay. And what they've done this week is they've announced the premium editions. Okay, so first of all is that on Switch, you're going to get 2 choices. Okay, which the first one is the standard edition, as always. Just buy the game or just download it, which is absolutely fine. And then the second option is sort of like a premium package where you get the season pass as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever
standard?
Yeah, have you ever played any of the?
I played a bit of Kombat 10, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good games, but for me, they don't hold much in the way of sort of gameplay, really.
Yeah.
Once you played one, you kind of played them all. I feel in my head. I know obviously the executions and the environments change, but for me, that's not enough to go back to too much.
I'm not too big of a side fighting fan.
Side scroll and beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's mainly because I'm not very good at them. is the biggest one. I can never seem to get the grips. Get to grips of it.
The movements,
like the movements and the way, like having to rely on certain combos and then remembering which combos we beat which other combos. I don't know. I just the moment it just goes straight over my head.
I played more of the Injustice. I played a lot of that.
Yeah.
But so once I sort of completed it, that was it. I was done. I was like, well, this game's similar with Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
This is the same sort of thing. The only thing that really changes is the different attacks you get from different characters. But
yeah. I mean, obviously, graphics and quality, they can show you a little bit more gore and a little bit more blood.
More
and
ball smashing.
Yeah. I'm sure that they're probably quite interesting. And they seem to improve quite well every year whenever they get released. I think the only upset they had with Mortal Kombat 10 was that you could buy fatalities. So obviously people normally if you wanted to execute a fatality when you're about to finish someone off, you would have to enter in a button combination. You'd have to remember something very well and be very highly skilled at doing it. And then obviously if you were rich enough, or if you wanted to spend your own money and give the company more money, you could obviously just pay for just one button press and you would be able to commit fatality, which sort of takes away the essence of it. But I mean, I haven't heard anything so far about paid content in this one. I definitely wouldn't rule it out because they make so much money out of it.
Yeah.
You can't, the company, when they look at it from a business standpoint, they'll look at it and just go, we have to include it again, rather than they'll look at it and just go from an artistic standpoint and go, this will make our game look worse. The money to look value is too much in a certain sense.
They're making enough on the collector's edition for the PlayStation and Xbox, so
yeah,
I can see them cashing in on every aspect of that game.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the collector's edition then.
So only PlayStation and Xbox also getting these 2 editions.
Yeah.
There's been no mention of the season pass included, which is weird.
Yeah, especially when it's got a price point of £279.99.
Yes. You get the usual steelbook, I believe. There's a 1-to-1 Scorpio figure mask. That's it.
Which is really cool. Even I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan, but even I think that mask looks pretty awesome.
It'll go quite well in a lot of people's collectors' cases and things. And there was some magnets and things as well. Quite not much in the way of physical items, but quite a lot in terms of digital content.
Yeah, like extra skins.
You had access to, I think it's about 5 DLC characters.
Yeah.
And you also had a week's early access to some of the characters coming out later on, I believe it was announced that. For 1 week you get access to it. So potentially there could be some more things to then purchase down the line.
It's up there for obviously the big fans, which is at £280 you would have to be a very big fan to do it. I mean, it depends on what the quality of the mask is made out of. It is 1-to-1. Can you take it off and wear it? That's what I would like to know.
I don't know.
I don't know what when it's 1-to-1. How big is Scorpion as a human being? Because if he's some massive superhuman, it probably would be a little bit too big for my Swede. But
it's a mask, not a helmet.
I think it looks like it's got roby stuff on the back of it, so it pretty much is a helmet. It's just a little bit cloppy.
I reckon
at the
it will
back.
be on a stand, so you prop it up as a decorative item. They may have put straps on it, but then it's not going to fit everyone.
Did you ever see the Halo 3 collector's edition? Because you got the collector's edition, and of that you got the Halo mask.
You actually got a full-size helmet. Yes.
Could you actually put it on?
No, it's just a slit that slid on top of a little box to store the games in. It's about 3 games boxes wide, and it never would have fit anyway, even if there was a sizable hole. But it was cool. I did see it. My friends got it.
That is quite cool though. So that's all there is really for the Mortal Kombat news. Obviously, that's still coming out on the 26th, which will be really cool. Not quite the game for me, but if that is your sort of thing, then it's good to know this
on YouTube.
Yeah,
just so I can see what it is, because they do fascinate me a little bit.
If you do get a chance, obviously get over and get yourself a collector's edition while they last, because no doubt they will sell out very, very, very quickly. All right. The other big bit of news, which is quite potential to turn into bigger news, is Star Wars Fallen Order. So obviously this is one of those games where EA have had control of this Star Wars deal with Disney for how long is it now? It's got to be coming up to the end of the 6th year now. So they've got this 10-year deal with them. And so far they've released 2 games, Battlefront and Battlefront 2, which has met with a lot of criticisms, and we've now hopefully got a teaser trailer for Fallen Order coming out. On
the teaser poster.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get a teaser trailer.
Yeah. So on EA's own Twitter account, then they did announce, they did show a little bit of a poster, a little bit of an animated poster, which basically showed sort of like the logo of Fallen Order with some descriptions. And it just showed the slogan as well. And essentially what they've also said is that on the 13th of April at 1:30 there will be a stream or a live stream event to showcase this new trailer for this new game. That's what they're saying. Okay, so this is going on at the Chicago Star Wars Celebration event, which is normally from the 11th to the 19th. But obviously on the 13th, which is going to be this Saturday, they're hoping to show, or they should be showing, no matter what, the trailer for this new game, which is set after episode 3, I believe it is.
Yes,
isn't it?
From what we've read so far.
From what we have understood, and is set for a 2019 holiday release. Okay, what are your expectations for this?
Well, Battlefront and Battlefront 2, when EA made those, the first one was perfectly adequate from what I played. I played it for a fair few hours, I'd say.
Yeah.
Didn't play it massively because I just got too fed up of all the players and getting killed by the heroes constantly. Just ended up just dropping it. It wasn't the Battlefront that I was used to.
Yeah.
With the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. That's what I was used to. So it was a bit of to go online, it was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully, obviously, it's not going to be that sort of game.
So I believe this is actually meant to be a single player adventure game, action adventure game, where you do follow. I'm hoping if it sticks to how it should be, you're playing as a Jedi, aren't you?
Yes, you should do.
Yeah. So hopefully then what will happen is that it won't include microtransactions.
No.
I think they would have learned from their mistakes there.
Hopefully
they would have learned from their mistakes there.
I don't know.
And then essentially what they should do is they should create this really unique and detailed and great storytelling experience of the Star Wars universe and an individual story. They won't link it into the films at all. I don't think that's even that's even possible, is it?
They could reference a few things. They may mention a few characters and things like that.
Yeah.
But between sort of 3 and 4 in the films, a lot of things had already happened.
Yeah, well, you've got Rogue One is based between those as well, isn't it?
Rogue One
is about how they get. So maybe it will have a lot of references to that. That'll be the closest to it, sort of thing. And then hopefully they're going to explore, and what I'm hoping to see in this trailer is show a little bit of actual proper gameplay. Show us what what we're hoping for. I think what EA has obviously built this reputation at the moment where everyone's very worried about how they treat them all. Like Visceral Games, the last game that Amy Hennig was working on, like they've shut that down and completely closed that up. Which is obviously horrible. So now that we've actually got something coming out for one of these Star Wars games, actually show us some details, show us what we're going to actually be playing. Because if they just show us another teaser trailer, it's not building people's confidence, would you say?
No, definitely. I'm hoping to see a game more like the Star Wars of Force Unleashed. That was very story driven.
Was that any good though?
I did enjoy those games. They were
Enjoyed them, but were they any good?
Yeah, they were. It was a Star Wars game. You just ran around with the guy with a lightsaber. It didn't really offer much in the way of story. It was just a generic character that was pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And just sort of thrown into the Star Wars universe. It was.
But it made it interesting enough. Or?
Yeah, it did it well. It was Darth Vader's little pet project to try and take over the Emperor.
Yeah.
And there's a few twists on it. Was Vader using him to try and take over the Emperor, or was he just doing it to basically do his dirty work? It was sort of that sort of story was a little bit. Yeah. And you had two outcomes. The story actually had two different endings depending on which you picked, which gave it a little bit more depth.
And there was also a Force Unleashed 2,
there was Force Unleashed 2,
but
yes.
I heard that one was nowhere near as fun as the first
Very generic, as most sequels are. It ticked a few boxes, but it didn't offer anything new. They just sort of replayed a bit of the story, really. This guy kept dying, Vader kept cloning him, and that was it. You didn't know if he was a clone or original, from what I remember anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping a little bit more story-driven game, but maybe along that line where you actually play as a Jedi and...
No microtransactions.
No, just a good story game.
Hopefully, they will have learned their lesson.
Yeah.
Because the Star Wars games, they sell so well anyway.
Oh, the fan base is massive.
Yeah, then they shouldn't really be trying to money hoard too much, because essentially they're just going to end up working more towards upsetting fans. I reckon. I mean, it would be a strong will to say, and it probably isn't even correct anyway, that they probably would have had more success with Battlefront 2 if they'd never put the microtransactions in there. Yes. But then you have to remember that some people spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars on microtransactions for these games,
for the people who don't buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's just the horrible business practice that we're in at the moment with these microtransactions. But hopefully, again, we'll find out this Saturday. So I
see no need for microtransaction in a story-based game. So,
but games have done it before.
There's no need.
There's no need. Yeah, there's absolutely no need, but there is a potential for it.
To be confirmed.
Yeah. So just to clarify that, Star Wars Fallen Order, the 13th of April. The announcement is at 1:30 American, which is the Chicago. That's the East Coast, isn't it? And so that's 7:30 for English people. They will provide a link. So if you just look it up, go on to EA, they'll keep you all updated with it. The moment we get a chance, we'll post it out for you as well via our Twitter. Next on the agenda, we have Inside Xbox, which is coming the 16th of April as well. Okay, so they haven't shown too much about this. It was just a quick little snippet video just to prepare yourselves for it, which is going to include Sea of Thieves, Hunter's Call. I believe that's what the next DLC is going to be called, or not DLC, is because it's games as a service. The next content that's going to be added is... Yep. Doesn't excite me at all because I hate Sea of Thieves now.
Oh, that turned.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of Sea of Thieves. They've also got Gears of War Pro Circuit, which is the professional players, so they're going to talk about that. They've got some Rage 2 gameplay, which is going to be class. That game actually looks like it's starting to shape up quite well, and Bethesda do need a bit of a saviour at the moment. Yep. Warhammer Chaos Bane. Yeah, Chaos Bane. There's an exclusive look on that. Looks like a real-time strategy game, which should be quite good. And there's a couple of other things that they're going to be showing as well. They did have quite a lot of information saying that it's regarding E3 and also Xbox Game Pass and everything like that. So that's going to be on the 16th of April, which is next Tuesday. Now, it's interesting. It's good to see Inside Xbox. Good to see a little bit more content. Always good to hear about these games. What are you hoping for from this?
I personally don't own Game Pass myself, so when they release games on it, I'm just a bit like, okay, good for it, really.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the Game Pass that makes me want to go out and get it.
Yeah.
At the moment, there's games if I had it that I would play just because I had the access to, but for me, there's nothing to grip me there. I mean, the games that are on it that I would play, I pretty much got them already.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the most part, I think like especially when it comes to Game Pass, I think the only main one there that's on Game Pass is Sea of Thieves, because it's a game as a service and that's exclusive to Xbox. Gears of War, there is I believe they're also on the Game Pass as well. But obviously this is the way that the trailer for this Inside Xbox event was showing they're showing some of the professionals. Maybe there's going to be more info on how they're going to take the competitive gaming a little bit further, which would be quite cool. The Xbox Game Pass, they are pushing. We've discussed this a couple of podcasts ago.
Yes.
They are pushing it so hard at the moment. And it'd be good to see what else they've got to offer. The more that they can offer with one subscription service, the better. And this also goes hand in hand with their new console, which they've got.
Yes.
They're hopefully going to be announcing.
I reckon they're pushing it so much because it's going to be.
Yeah, so we've got the Xbox One S all digital, that should be coming out soon, and then obviously that provides you to take home a console with no disc drive, so everything is done through downloading games off the internet. If you have Game Pass.
It's a console designed for the Game Pass, isn't it?
Exactly. So, which they go great hand in hand, and also to accompany that is the subscription bundling that they're starting to do now as well.
Definitely, it could be.
So, do you want to take us through the subscription bundling then?
So they've released it into US figures at the moment, bundling the live subscription and the Game Pass, which is $15 US.
Yeah,
which works over the course of works out cheaper than having both over the course of the year. So
yeah, so they're saying that it saves on average about $5 a month over there. So for us, you'd probably only save probably about £2 or £1 probably, especially with the current exchange rates and whatnot. And again, this again goes hand in hand really well with the Xbox One S all digital.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because then you've got your online play and you've then got your Xbox Game Pass, so you can download all the games that are on there, which all the exclusives pretty much are, aren't they? So, which is obviously great, and then you can play them all online. It's perfect. They did delve into this last year in America before, where they offered an Xbox One X, the Game Pass and Xbox Live all in one bundle for a 2-year fixed payment plan, and you basically paid $30 a month, and you got an Xbox One X, Xbox Live, and the Game Pass all included in one bundle. So it seems like they're trying to find ways to include
financially viable options for getting new players onto their systems.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you can spread out your costs over a long period of time, which is obviously great. You might be able to save money. That's another great positive. But also, it's just giving that more. It's just more availability. I mean, the Xbox One X, especially when it first came out, it was £450 for us. So that's a lot of money. So a lot of people won't go out of their way to go and get it. But this gives people that easier in, and then if they know that they're getting the Live and the Xbox Pass with it,
potentially retain them as future customers for that going forward. Yes,
exactly. So Xbox have got so much they've put in so much effort towards this Game Pass and towards the Xbox Live services, and obviously we talked about this last week where they put their prices up, which unfortunately you can't do anything about. This could be your way to get that price back down.
Yes, it almost is encouragement to switch over.
Yeah. Which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, at least they're giving you an alternative, which most companies don't. It's a case of it is going up and that's it. You want it, you pay for it. So it is nice that people aren't being forced into paying a higher figure if they want it cheaper and maybe get a little bit more out of it as well.
Yeah,
with the pass.
It'd be good to see. I hope they bring this Xbox Pass, the the Xbox One X and the Game Pass and Live. I hope they bring that whole bundle over to us. Like, that'll be really good, especially going into the next generation as well. When we're going on to, depending on what consoles they wanted to bring out. We're not even going to try and name what the Xbox are going to call theirs, because it could be absolutely anything.
Yeah.
But if they get the groundwork for it going now, then, and you know that when the new Xbox console gets released, then they can offer a different plan for that, or a new plan for that. That will work so well in their favour, especially if you can bring all the games from Xbox One X across to it.
Yes.
So then you just, like, you'll be more encouraged to get it a day one release then as well. Because otherwise, if you don't, then, like, if they don't do something like that, then they might have the same problem that every console has, is you buy the day one release of the console, and then there's only like 2 games that are worth playing on it. You end up going back to your blooming Xbox One.
I had that when the Xbox One initially came out. I would literally jump onto it for maybe a game or 2, and then straight back onto the 360.
Yeah, because
the backwards compatibility just wasn't there at first, and they've only sort of gradually been bringing it in recently over the last sort of year or so.
Yeah.
So they need to have more access to their older games from launch.
Yeah.
So that you haven't got that sort of jumping between to and from consoles.
Yeah.
Because for the first couple of months, I hardly touched my Xbox One, because there was just no games. I think I played Lego Movie Game and Thief, and that was pretty much it for the longest period of time until some proper games came out.
Yeah, so it's something that they're hopefully they could be working towards in the long run. So on that note, Inside Xbox, 16th of April, there will be keep a close eye on it for a couple of those items. The next one we've got to talk about is PlayStation. They've got a couple of interesting little things that they've brought out this week, which is, first of all, is they've released a pattern so that it makes prescription glasses compatible with their VR. So obviously, as you're probably aware, VR is a massive headset that's got to go in front of your face so that you can obviously look around. Now, they've not been too glasses friendly so far. So what PlayStation have done is they've created a pattern, and basically they've put in for it to have this device that allows you to wear your prescription glasses while you play VR. You have glasses, Luke?
I have glasses, yep. I don't have VR, though.
But does this make you more likely to want to get VR?
To be honest, I wouldn't need to wear my glasses when playing VR because I'm short-sighted, so having it right in front of my face would only help me.
Okay, that's fair enough then.
But obviously for people who, say, long-sighted, obviously would only benefit from this. So, for me, PlayStation VR or any sort of VR still holds little sort of hold over me. There's not many games out there that I really want to warrant getting it.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely making it more sort of user-friendly for a lot more players out there. Yeah, exactly. Because there are a lot of people the majority of people wear glasses in some form or another, and not everyone wants to be wearing contact lenses. So...
yeah, I mean, for some people, they can't even wear it.
Exactly.
I put contact lens in. I've only ever worn contact lenses like 3 times in my life. And one of the times that I did wear them, like the contact lens just like rolled into the back of my, into like the back of, like it's like one of your biggest fears. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like blinking and I pulled it out. Like
you just see people just like fingering their eyeballs. Just, I can't be doing with it. So
it's so cringy. So yeah, so obviously this is great accessibility.
Yeah.
To everybody, which is really good.
It's something that not people really thought about with the VR because it's right in front of your face. Everyone's gonna be able to see it, but no, not everyone has that.
I think that the thing that like always like holds me off of VR at the moment is the fact that there's so many wires still involved.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that I'm going to be moving about in a room where I can't see as it is. That's already a bad start.
Yeah.
But then I've got like wires twisting around me, and
it's going to get
everywhere.
A expensive break when you trip over that wire.
Yeah, and I'm clumsy as it is.
You rip your console off the shelf onto the floor, smash that.
Yeah.
You stick your fist through your telly.
Oh.
No.
So like this is a great step in the right direction, and like we both agree on that. But I think on a personal note for us is whilst you're making it more accessible, there are still some very crucial things that they could release to make it better. When they release the PlayStation 5, which they will do, no doubt, If they release the VR with that on release, they're saying you can get the VR and it would be wireless. If they could be the first people to get to it.
Or wireless VR would be a game changer.
Yeah. Especially because you can use the VR as like a TV screen, so you can just put it on while you're in bed. You just lie on your back, just stare up at the ceiling, or put a movie on.
I reckon that's
quite cool.
They'll live stream. They'll let you stream your games from your console onto your.
So it'll have like its own receiver and everything.
Yeah, because obviously the thing on your face isn't going to have the capacity to play these games, run it themselves. You have to have the console there, so they'll probably integrate something. The console actually plays the game, then streams it to the receiver in the headset. But then obviously you've got to charge that thing right up before you start playing.
Yeah, I was going to say that does then start to.
But then a charging cable, if made long enough and not too bulky, wouldn't be the end of the world to have. Maybe on the back, it wouldn't be too compared to what they have now. Like I don't know, look, can be plugged into the Matrix as it currently does now.
Fair enough then. And to go along with that, PlayStation also have released as of tomorrow, which is the 11th of April, you are now going to be able to change your PlayStation Network name.
Finally,
what Xbox has had for several years now.
Yep.
We finally, us PlayStation players, we now have that similar capability.
There's a lot of risks though that I think a lot of people are put off by, which I can't get my head around how Sony have been able to do, not Sony, Microsoft have been able to do from seemingly day one.
Yeah.
But Sony now trying to backtrack are having issues doing it.
Yeah. So obviously, the way it works is essentially that when you change a game user ID, is as long as the game has been prepared for it, then it will be fine. But if a game hasn't been prepared for it, they're not quite sure how the results will come out. So essentially what happened is on April the 1st in 2018 is they released this toolkit for developers and developers to use, where essentially they can integrate it into their game, and it means that whenever you're playing it, if there was such a thing as your name being changed, is the game could recognize that and it could go, oh, okay, this person's had a name change, that's fine. However, on games older than that, or that had been published before that, essentially what had happened is it might not be able to recognize your name change properly. So essentially when you go into a game, if you've bought any add-ons, if you bought any DLC, if you bought any extras, if you bought any skins, anything, like even if you bought the game itself, if it can't recognize your name properly, so if it normally recognized you as example 123, but now you've changed it to just example, when it tries to read your username going into it, if it's wrong, it might lock you out of certain things, and you might lose trophies because of this. You might lose content, like things you've actually spent and paid money for. So it's a big
risk.
It's a big deal. Like, it's a massive deal, and they are talking about, and they're being quite good, and they're acknowledging the fact that they have got these issues, and they're saying, and they're giving you the advice of saying, try to stick, if you are going to change your game, if you are going to change your name, stick to these games from 2018 1st of April onwards. Yeah. However, obviously, a lot of people won't be able to do that. The effects are reversible. That's what Sony say. So if you do change your name and then you end up losing all of your content from a prior game that you want back, you can reverse. If you end up reversing your name, apparently you will get your stuff back as long as it doesn't break the terms of service. Which is fine. Before.
Yes.
I mean, again, this is one of those things where it's a massive pain in the bum. It's a great option that they needed to bring out, especially because Xbox had it. My username is rubbish. I won't even say it because it is that rubbish, and I would love to change mine. At the moment, I'm not quite convinced with all of the risk, but it's better to bring this out now, knowing that in about a year's time we're gonna have PlayStation 5 come out, so that when you upgrade to the latest console, you won't have to worry about any of this.
Yeah, definitely. I've changed my Xbox gamer tag about 3 times to memory. So
what did you used to have?
Oh, I started off initially with Draco Scale 111.
Draco Scale.
Don't even ask.
Are you sure it's Harry Potter?
Draco Malfoy. No, I don't even know how I came out with that one.
Yeah.
I can't even remember my second one that I had after that. But I've now stuck on with my third one.
Yeah.
And my PlayStation, when I made that when I was in college and I was 17, it's cringy AF.
Oh no,
so
we won't even go into it.
It needs to be changed, but with all this risk,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit dubious for how much I play on my PlayStation online, especially. The only people that really know it is my friends, and they rip me enough as it is. So.
Yeah. So this service is available from the 11th of April onwards. It's going to be free the first time you do it. Okay. Which is great. That's giving you that option, especially if it goes wrong. And then it'll be £8 each time after that.
It's about the same as Xbox, isn't it?
About the same as Xbox. However, if you are a PlayStation Plus member, it's only £4 per change.
Which I think is fair.
So, which is fine. I mean, if you changed it once and you have no problems with your games, I'm sure you can change as much as you want from there on out.
Yep.
There probably won't be too many issues. But it's better to get this out now in preparation for the big dog down the line, so that when you do change over, you've then got that service available for all of the latest games, and you won't have any issues with it. That is the hope. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Whether it sticks to that or not.
I'll stick with my cringe for safety.
Until
there's
you're
not
ready.
many games I played before 2018, but oh no, I'll go back to one game and there'll be nothing there, and I'll be furious. So
yeah, exactly. Just going off of the PlayStation Plus and Microsoft's Xbox Live, and now we're also including into this conversation is the Nintendo subscription for online service. Is all three of them are in a bit of trouble at the moment.
An investigation, which never is good.
Yeah, so they're under investigation. Take us through it.
So basically, what we've read in an article so far, that it's they're basically being reviewed in terms of their automatic renewal service.
Yeah.
And sort of like a calling off, sort of like a 14-day trial period sort of thing. Whereas if they're not happy with it, they can cancel it and get a full refund, which, to my knowledge, I don't think actually any of them actually offer at the moment. Once you buy it, you've bought it.
Yeah.
And obviously the renewal's automatic renewal, which is handy for a lot of people, but I can imagine a lot of people have just not read the terms properly, just skipped over it, and then been stung a year down the line and charged again. Which I feel could easily be avoidable if people just were a little bit more responsible with what they do online, which we shouldn't have to be telling people in 2019 when they're paying for things.
Yeah, that is definitely true. There are a couple of things that like they could do. They could send out reminder emails just to say in a week's time this is going to be charging you. The big issue I had with PlayStation when mine was trying to get renewed last year, so it was in December 2018. Mine was up for renewal. I tried to log into the website to cancel my renewal because I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And every time I tried to cancel it, it wouldn't let me do it. And I was trying every single day for a week, like 4 or 5 times a day, trying to log into their website, and I could log in and everything, but then whenever I press cancel my subscription, it just said we ran into an error. And eventually I had to go onto the PlayStation and cancel it through the PlayStation because I couldn't cancel it online. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the end of the world.
But if you didn't have your PlayStation...
If I didn't have my PlayStation or anything like that, then that would have been a major problem. I think the other thing that I do see it online quite a lot where people get very annoyed about the fact, especially I see it more so with PlayStation. Obviously, it's probably going to be more so with Xbox now that they've just raised their prices. But I do see with PlayStation that when they've got their price increased to £50 now, and now probably the best part of about 8 of the 12 months of the year, they now offer it at discount at £40 back to its original price, which people are now getting really frustrated with, because essentially if you're on auto renewal, you're going to be charged £50. Whereas for the most part of the year, you can always get it for £40.
The automatic renewal has almost rendered itself useless with the discount offers, buying it manually when you want it. Which is fair enough. I don't know why they would make it 2 different costs.
It's just it is so much cheaper to cancel your renewal and then buy it physically elsewhere.
But just buy 12 months at a time.
Yeah, which just it's just barking mad. It makes no sense. It's not cooperative with the consumers. Don't get me wrong. It's probably not one of those things. I don't think they need like a proper full-on investigation. It's just poor business practice, essentially.
I mean, there's definitely better ways you could have gone about it, but again, it could all easily be avoided if people just paid a bit more attention to what they're signing up to.
Yeah.
That's the gut cause of it. If people just read, it's going to automatically renew on this date, it'll be this much. Xbox give a reminder probably about a month in advance, if I'm remembering, about when it's going to renew next.
Yeah.
Which is plenty of time for you to make those changes. If you have an Xbox subscription,
Yeah.
you hopefully going to play on it sometime within that month.
Hopefully. Yeah, but I guess that's the whole point, is some people aren't able to.
Yeah, but so again, you can cancel it, and with Xbox, you can cancel the automatic renewal, and I've never had an issue cancelling mine.
Well, yeah, okay, well, it's just PlayStation. Like,
it might have been a website issue,
yeah.
so...
But a website issue over the course of a week it starts
That's
to frustrate
quite, especially
me.
for that specific thing.
Yeah,
Could
it's just
lead
sort of like,
to-
oh yeah, you can log in fine, you can get all your details up fine the moment you try to cut. It's like one of those things. It's not like I don't think they were trying to catch me out, but it's just sort of like you get that
Of
inkling
all the
of a
bits of
feeling.
the
You're just sort of
website to
like,
go round.
oh come on, the one bit that I'm trying to sort out at the one time of year happens to not be working now. Oh great,
Is
you're
it
well
coincidence?
useful.
Is it, or are they just make it a little bit difficult?
Yeah.
So,
Well, without getting too blamey on
read
other
the terms and
people,
conditions, people. You're all adults.
Before getting too blamey on people, Prince Harry had a few comments to say this just last week actually now. So I believe it was last Friday.
Quite recently.
He had some choice words to say about Fortnite. Now, me and Luke are not the biggest fans of Fortnite.
No, I have no strong feelings towards it either
No,
way.
it's not our cup of tea. It's okay. It does what it does. It's an adult daycare. Oh, sorry, an adult daycare. It's a kid daycare as well, isn't it? Where so many people play it now that you don't. It's taken away from some of the other major games, which is good in a lot of senses. Especially when you're playing online, you get a few less children, which is great. But a few less adults as well. However, Harry has some very choice words to say about it. What do you feel about these before I read out the quotes?
I feel like Fortnite obviously has the whole persona behind it that kids are addicted to it and things like that. Mm-hmm. But that can be said about any sort of game. And what he came out with is far too extreme.
Yeah.
And it can be applied to any game going forward. So
yeah.
It's just unnecessary to say the least.
Yeah. So essentially, what Prince Harry said, and this was just before the BAFTA Game Awards that was on Friday. He did say, and this is a quote: "That game shouldn't be allowed. Where is it? Where is the benefit of having it in your household? It's created to addict, an addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. It's like waiting for the damage to be done and kids turning up on your doorsteps and families being broken down." He also added that social media was more addictive than alcohol and drugs. Okay, so the very, very choicey words.
He's very one-sided. He's not seeing... all he sees is the bad.
We'll try to avoid being as political as possible with this. I'm not a big fan of what he said. I'm not a big fan of Fortnite, but I do have to justify things on a gaming end here. It's like I can see where he's coming from. I can see what his argument is that it's an addictive game and whatnot. However, associating it and saying that these sorts of things are like as more addictive than alcohol and drugs, and it should be banned, it's just a step in too far. It's a step too far. Like this, we were discussing this before, and it's like if you have this platform where you can stand up and you can speak in front of all of these people, you shouldn't stand there and say ban it. Why doesn't he stand there and go, just make sure, guys, just make sure you limit your time on it, sort of thing. It's just sort of like you're associating it with drugs and alcohol. Like drug and alcohol abuse is horrendous, and it's disgusting, and there's a lot of people that need actual help with it. However, you're associating a video game with it.
Scaremongering
almost. It's like, the way I've thought about it is it's like overeating. You shouldn't overeat at all. and you should watch what your intake is and whatnot, and you need to monitor it. However, it's unhealthy to overeat. It's unhealthy to play Fortnite too much in a day.
But not banning food, are we?
It's not going to go out of its way and actively kill you. And don't get me wrong, there are a couple of very, very extreme case incidents around the world where video games has been the cause of someone's death. But that's only essentially in the sense when somebody...
I was
going to say it's the
trigger.
It's the trigger. Like somebody obviously has too much of an addictive personality or decided not to put down the game. It's not fair to blame the whole of Fortnite and ban it in everybody's homes just because...
No, it's not the Hypnotoad. It's not like hypnotizing kids just to stare at it. And it comes down to it's simple parenting, really.
Yeah.
If you feel your kid's on it too much, you turn it off.
Yeah.
And you deal with the screaming kid afterwards because you turned it off. But you avoid that. Just set a bit of moderation to begin with.
Yeah,
you can stop this problem before it even starts.
Yeah, there are parental controls and everything on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. So take advantage of those is probably the best advice we can give you.
Moderation is definitely the key with
we don't
everything.
Nobody wants anybody to be addicted to anything, whether it be food, alcohol, drugs, or Fortnite. Don't get me wrong, being addicted to anything is bad, no matter what it is. It could be the same for movies or anything like that. But to call out for just Fortnite to be banned,
I mean,
it seems like a bit of an aimed approach rather than just saying just consider your amount of time you're playing it.
People similar say about the hours they spend on World of Warcraft, for instance. People who really deep dive into that game and play it religiously, they can lose days in that game. But no one's that game for being addictive.
Yeah, but it's not as in the media now, is it?
Yeah, but it's still having a similar effect on certain people. You can't just...
That wouldn't get him at the top of the news, would it? Though.
Well, yeah. I mean, Fortnite will forever be trending.
And that's sort of the point to go to is that if he'd addressed video game addiction in general, and said people need to watch their video game addiction, then it wouldn't have caused such a bit of a...
It'd be more of a
concerned approach rather than him saying, "Oh no, this is wrong and this is why."
As a self-proclaimed gamer, as he said,
it'd
be curious to see what games he feel is socially acceptable to play in your household.
Yeah.
So that'd be curious to see.
Yeah, because he does, Prince Harry has said that he plays Xbox and he plays PlayStation. And he says that Fortnite, and again, the quote again is, that game shouldn't be allowed, where is the benefit of having it in your household? I mean, that could be said for any sort of media intake.
Yeah.
Where is the benefit for...
Benefit is
entertainment, is happiness. It's whatever you get out of video games. As long as it's positive energy and whatnot, then that's exactly what you need. But it is one of those things where we shouldn't get too political.
Yeah, so he's entitled to his opinion, and his claim is what he's saying. There is some sort of...
There's some credibility behind it.
Yeah.
If you want to go into what he's saying... And see what he's trying to get across, then you can definitely see it, and I'd happily support him and say that people that are addicted to video games, then I would happily stand there and go, yeah, we need to support them.
Yeah.
However, calling for something to be banned because a few people are addicted to it, that's...
You just drive it underground.
That's unfortunately that would just end up you could say the same for absolutely anything in the world.
Yeah.
And that's where the sort of issue starts to come from for me. But it's just one of those things you just sort of just want to avoid the whole subject completely, and it would probably be one of those things, quotes and stuff like that will just it'll be water under the bridge in probably the next week.
Fortnite will have its day eventually, and then it'll all just be another game that everyone used to play.
I mean, everyone's on Apex now, aren't they? So
yeah, there's gradual change over to that. But then again, in 6 months' time, will people then jump up that Apex is addictive and has no place in your households?
Yeah, give it some time, unfortunately. Yeah. We'll, I guess we'll see where
maybe
that
it's
story
the genre,
leads us.
The Battle Royale genre, not the game itself, that needs to be...
He doesn't like a level playing field. He doesn't like spawning in with nothing like everybody else.
Maybe.
That was a harsh political view, isn't it? But
Treason.
yeah, treason. No, it's fine. So that's essentially all the main bits of news there are really. There's a couple of things to look forward to. So just to recap on that is we've got Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 coming out next week. We've also got Mortal Kombat Premium Editions which have been released. So get your hands on that if you would like that. We've got Star Wars Fallen Order. They're showing the teaser trailer this Saturday at 1:30 American time, at 7:30 for English time. And then we've got Inside Xbox on the 16th of April. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this week.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add?
No, we've covered everything, I think.
We've covered absolutely everything. As always, feel free to leave us any feedback or information that you would like.
It'd be interesting to hear other people's thoughts on Prince Harry's thoughts.
Yeah, don't take my comments to word. But that's pretty much it from us. So thank you very much for listening. Have a lovely week and we'll see you next one.
See you then.